What's up, Melanated family? This is your boy Harrison, man. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'm happy to be back for another week. How's everybody doing today? Please do me a favor. If this is your first time listening to me, or even if you've been with me for a while, please do me a favor and subscribe to the Melanated Convo YouTube channel. The Melanated Convo YouTube channel. We've changed things up just a little bit. You know what I mean? The platform online will be the Melanated Convo. That's where you'll find great conversations with people in our community. It'll either be the interviews, it'll be me coming to you personally, it'll be the History Matters video where I talk to you about history. So all that'll be popping here on the Melanated Convo. I switched it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Melanated Fathers of America is originally the idea I came up with when I started this entire platform. And that was really about, being a father of five, like I always say, all the indiscrepancies I had to go through, all the things I had to learn during my younger years of being a father of three or four kids. I kind of threw all of that into Melanated Fathers of America, which basically is an organization where we have community events. We do different things for the community. We do different things for fathers. And that is growing as we speak. But this platform here will be called the Melanated Convo, where we have conversations about the things that go on in our community, whether it's our relationships, whether it's the racism we face, whether it's economics. All of these things will be discussed on the Melanated Convo YouTube channel. So please subscribe today if you haven't done so. Now, if you're listening to the show on one of the digital platforms, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all these different places you can find this show. So please keep downloading the episodes. The downloads go up weekly. I'm so thankful. Being a brother who, single parent home, real bad stuttering problem. Like, I didn't see myself being here in a position where I can communicate and articulate myself to my people in a way that can possibly be helpful. So I'm just grateful to be in a position I'm in. You feel me? Also, I want to thank everybody. This Thanksgiving was last week. I want to thank everybody who supported the third annual community Thanksgiving dinner that my family had at my family's funeral home, which I'm here in Sacramento, California. My family owns a funeral home in this area. And along with my organization, we've just decided to do things inspired by helping our people, do things inspired by, helping the people who need the most help. You feel me? Because when we talk about God or we talk about spirituality, we talk about religion, all of these things supposed to be rooted in finding out who you are personally and then doing your best to improve society in any way you can. You feel me? So I want to send a shout out to all of it's too many to name, everybody who volunteered for the third annual the community Thanksgiving dinner at the funeral home, everybody who volunteered, everyone who volunteered to make food, to serve food. It was a great turnout. We were able to package up some of the meals and bring them to homeless people in the community. But it was a great turnout, man. Channel 3 called. I'm here in Sacramento, of course. So KCRA Channel 3 called and they wanted to be a part of what we were doing. So they came out, they interviewed some of us, put it on the news. So if you're in the Sacramento area, if you go to KCRA Channel 3 YouTube channel, you'll see the story they did about the feeding. And it's just a good thing, man. Like, I'm just happy to be in a position where I feel like I found what I should be doing with my life. Keeping in mind that, I think I found this a little later than some people do, even though it's never too late. But I definitely feel like I found it a little later than some people do. And, I'm just thankful at this point. It was a great turnout. Like I said, we were able to bring some meals to different homeless people in the community. Channel 3 came out and they shed light on what it is we're doing exactly. And all of those things are confirmation to me that I'm on the right path. So I want to welcome everybody to another episode of the show. If you haven't watched the news clip, go to KCRA Channel 3 in Sacramento. You can see the news clip. I'm very proud of that. Like, we put a lot of work and energy, and it's a lot of people that go into making things like that a success. So I thank everybody. Like I said, if you're on one of the digital platforms, please do your best to leave a review of the show, like the show, share the show. Let's make the show as big as possible. I have a extreme desire to figure out the best ways to empower my people. On today's show, it's no guest. It's just your boy, rocking on my own. You feel me? We're gonna talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation and the negative effects of inviting negativity, which I feel he did. We're gonna correlate that with my brother, Young Dolph, young black man, young rapper, who was killed, I think the 17th, Wednesday the 17th. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about his situation and what we need to do, because we need to cover both ends, family. Yes, racism is real. We deal with a lot of things involving how this country treats us and all the things we've had to deal with since being here, since slavery, since all the laws that have been instituted. White supremacy is definitely a real thing, in my opinion. However, because of that, we've turned to treating each other a particular way. So it's important to dissect the Young Dolph situation. And on YouTube and different platforms, people quickly rush out to give opinions and broadcast the news about what happens in these situations. But I like to sit back and kind of get an idea of what actually happened, you know, digest my thoughts, because it's important. Like, being a person that creates content and speaks to the public, it's important that we're truthful. It's important that we're doing it for the right reason. I don't knock anybody for hustling and having a great idea or having something they talk about on YouTube. All of this shit is cool. You know what I mean? But sometimes we get into sensationalizing and not even being factual, which is probably hurting the situation more than it's helping it. You feel me? So I'm happy to be back. Another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. Like I said, the Melanated Convo is the name of the YouTube channel now. You can look that up. The Instagram account, my Instagram account is Southpaw100. That's where you can find all my personal stuff and what I'll be doing on a day-to-day basis, how I think, basically. If you want to look at clips of the show, you can go to the Melanated Convo pod on Instagram. And I'll check that to make sure, because I just changed it. But yeah, the Melanated Convo pod, well, the Melanated Convo 100, actually. No, the Melanated Convo 100. The Melanated Convo 100 is where you'll find clips of this show on Instagram. I'm happy to get everything started, family. And my personal Instagram, like I said, is at Southpaw100. If you know the show, then you know the first thing we do. Hold on one second. Let me get this popping. The first thing we do is talk about Black businesses. I'm going to be a little bit quicker, but the fact remains, a part of our liberation in this country, a part of what we can do to make things better, a part of what we can do to pull our funds together to help our people. Because when we talk politics, when we talk racism, all these things, we're a lot of doors are closed on us. But at the end of the day, money in unity would definitely help. And supporting Black businesses is a way to funnel money back into our community. So the first business, and I think they're still having a Cyber Monday sale. I'm actually saying the day that I'm doing this, but they're having a Cyber Monday sale, and this is Melanin Apparel. Melaninapparel.com is a website you can go to get clothes, home decor, different accessories, all involving our people and our liberation. I'm a big fan of representing who you are on your clothing. That's why a lot of times I may lean heavy into clothing lines and things of that nature, because Black folks spend a lot of money every year with clothing designers, with people outside of our community who can give a fuck about the actual progress of our community. So websites like this and companies like this who provide quality clothing, because that's the tiebreaker, family. I'm not going to ask you to give your money, not purposely ask you to give your money to someone who's Black but doesn't respect your dollar, who doesn't give you quality product. The tiebreaker between a company like Melanin Apparel and a white-owned company who sells clothing is the fact that you're Black. If your quality isn't up to standard, if you don't treat me a particular way, I may want to share some things with you, but even that has to be done correctly, because sometimes when we don't like what Black people produce, we highlight the negativity opposed to the positivity. So it's all a balance, family. But at the end of the day, Black Wall Street is something that we speak about and something that we want to emulate, but we have to put in the work to actually get there. So anybody that knows a Black business, please do me a favor, family. Send me an email to the Melanated Pod at gmail.com. If you know a Black business that does business nationally, even if they don't have a website, I prefer a website, but even if they don't have a website, that's fine, as long as they're able to ship their products and provide their products to everyone around the country, because I have fans in every, in all parts of the country. So it's important that all of us can be able to access your products and order them however you see fit. Some people that I promote may have just a Instagram account where they sell their products off. But if it looks official, if they're consistent, if they're professional, then that don't matter. They'll get to the point where they have a website and they'll be bigger, and all of that is dependent upon how we support them, right? So it all goes back to support. So melaninaapparel.com, they have a Cyber Monday sale currently. Christmas is coming up. I'm not a big proponent of Christmas at this time in my life, but I understand the need to build with family. I understand that's a time that to provide certain things for your children, whether toys or educational items or whatever the case may be. So I understand wanting to give gifts to people. So Melanin Apparel is a great website. You can get shirts, you can get different accessories, you can get sweaters, you can get hats. Some of the slogans are heavily influenced by Black liberation. Some of them aren't. But the point is, family, we spend billions of dollars a year on clothes, and materialistic items. I just want us to circumvent some of these funds into people who look like you, so we can improve the economy, so we can improve our lot in politics, so we can improve our overall standing in this country. And to me, supporting a Black business just speaks to your level of unity. It just speaks to your level of togetherness. You know what I mean? That's one of the first steps you can take to just being on code, which is something we're going to talk about today. If I haven't mentioned, this is the Melanated Convo podcast. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Please like and share the video. Today, I'm doing it solo, no guests. Typically, we do have interviews, and I like interviewing people from the community who have businesses, who are just parents, who have insightful information that I think the family can benefit from, right? Today, I'm doing it solo. We're going to talk about the brother Young Dolph, RIP to that brother. We're going to talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. We're going to speak a little bit on Ahmaud Arbery's case and the outcome in the court system. So we're going to take a look at that as well. But please do me a favor, family, and go to melaninapparel.com. A lot of cool shirts. Let me see here. Let me do a little digging through the website. So you can get t-shirts, you can get sweaters, you can get hats. There is home decor. This is a website I have been advertising for a while here. Again, 90% of the places that I mentioned, I frequent myself, or at least attempt to get something from the company, before I present it to my people. But again, man, we need to support each other. That's really important. So go to melaninapparel.com, get yourself a t-shirt. Family. There are holiday items, so you can get Christmas shirts that, again, sometimes will have a Black liberation slogan, so to speak. Sometimes not. Sometimes just something cool. You feel me? So all the time when you supporting somebody Black, it doesn't have to be nothing that's revolutionary as far as the shock and awe of the information on your garment. That doesn't have to be the case all the time. Sometimes you can just get something that's dope. But as you see here, they got the stockings with a Black Santa. I think Black images in all regard is just more of a empowerment statement for our people and our children. worshiping a white Jesus, worshiping a white Santa, worshiping goddamn white bunnies for Easter. I mean, we have to change the narrative at some point. So I appreciate this website for what they do for our community, and we express ourselves through fashion. That's another reason why I mention fashion a lot, because this is how we express ourselves as melanated Black people. So I'm not gonna front like we don't spend our money, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, on material items, and I don't mind that as much. I mean, shit. If you look at pictures of Mansa Musa, he's a king, but we just have a certain aura about us based on our melanin and our lineage. So I rock with that. But let's just, take a little bit of those funds and put it into some of our businesses so we can prosper the way we need to. Because again, I'm talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm talking about Young Dolph. These are situations that Black economics could possibly affect in a positive manner. I like that one. Randy Watson World Tour. For everybody listening to this on the digital platforms, I am on. I post the video of the show on YouTube. If you want to see the visual of the Black businesses or anything else that I'm showing while I'm talking, you can go to the Melanated Convo on YouTube and subscribe there as well, so you can join that family. You feel me? So go to melaninaapparel.com, family. Do that today. Support our people. Let's get this thing popping. You feel me? Now, next and last Black business, I'm going to try to make the Black business segment just a little bit quicker because I'm passionate about it, man. You know what I mean? I want us to understand the importance of supporting us. Like, family, you don't have, if you think about the grand scheme of things, how many years you actually have to live on this planet, how much time you actually have on this earth, right? It's important that you maximize that time. It's important that you do what can be helpful as much as possible. I understand raising your family. I understand focusing on what you have to do to improve yourself. These are all positive things. But if you Black in America, in my opinion, family, you have a responsibility to do what you can to improve our standing. That can be as minimal as, you know, shit, picking up trash and being a good father or a good mother and just communicating correctly and learning something about history, or that can go to the extremes of starting an organization, being a part of an organization. We just have to be aware of how we've been treated in this country and where we stand in this country. And then whenever you want to do with the information after that is on you. But it's important that we create an understanding based on these things, where every nationality has had their strife and their issues in different ways. Every race, every nationality has had that. We are a particular people who are either you're a stolen African or you're an Aboriginal person who has been here since the beginning of time. Regardless, we've been getting fucked over by this system in many different ways, a lot of them systematic. So we have to kind of unpack these things to realize why Black men would kill a Young Dolph or all these other 200 some odd fucking rappers that have been killed over the past few years. We have to analyze this, and just to say they stupid or they just doing fuck shit. Well, maybe it's because of the conditioning that's been placed on their people over centuries and centuries. Maybe that got something to do with it. I don't know. You feel me? So let's get into it. The next Black business, real quick. This is my homeboy Khalid White. I always support this brother. I interviewed this brother on my platform a couple times. He impressed me because he's a Black man who is a professor at a college, but he's cool. Like, if you hear him talk, if you sit down with him, if you have a conversation with him, his swag is just like any rapper we know or any entertainer we know. And I make that point because all too often we idolize celebrities. We idolize people based on their lot in life and how they're and how cool they are. You know what I mean? So some of this shit needs to be recontextualized at this point. So this is a brother who is a professor. He's an author. He sells clothes here on this website. Blackempower.com is the website, family. That's BLKMPWR.com. I'm gonna do a better job of being audible with some of this information because I understand I have listeners who are listening to this digitally as well. If you're working out, if you're at work, if you're just chilling, thank you for listening to the show. So it's blackempower.com. On the website, you can find his books that he sells. He has a couple children's books. He has clothing. Again, that highlights the empowerment of our people. Hold on one second. Let me see something. He has clothing. There goes the clothes that highlights the empowerment of our people. That's important to me. Here are the books because he is a junior college professor. We've had some great conversations about the difference between a young person starting in junior college opposed to a four-year university. So he has a book called Teaching Men of Color in the Community College, a guidebook, basically. Um, so that book's available. He has a documentary about fatherhood. That's one of the initial ways that I've, found out about the brother. He has the children's books as well. I don't see the children's books, but he definitely has them. So this is my brother, man. This is Khalid White. Go to blackempower.com. Sometimes we have to mix it up. Like if you getting your family something for Christmas or something for their birthday, I don't mind shopping at any store, buying items from any company. We understand we're 13% of the population. We understand that most of our communities are inundated with Walmarts and um, institutions that aren't really black people, but that's fine. Just find a way, family. Find a way. And like I always mention, if I'm not talking about businesses that you think are fly or up to your standards, send me businesses. Send me businesses. The melanated pod at gmail.com. Um, Send me businesses. I'll talk about those businesses. But this just is a part of our brain that we need to tap into, family. So he has his clothes, he has his books, blackempower.com, which means Black Empower, education, empowerment, and equality or equity, which they go equality and equity go hand in hand, in my opinion. But this is my brother. Please support the website, buy his merchandise. And some of us, right? Some of the people in the community who um, sell clothes or start businesses of this matter. Sometimes I speak to people who make it seem as if they're scheming or they have a nefarious plot attached to them wanting to sell you particular items. That's not the case, family. How it works is if you are operating outside of the system, if you are attempting to be creative in a way that may offend people in the dominant society, it's important that you go to your people for support. You know what I mean? It's important that you go to the very people that you consider your constituents. It's important that you go to them to fundraise and to um, make sure they understand how important your mission is. And a lot of this shit can't pop without money. Like you can be as conscious as you want to, you can be forward thinking as you want to, but a lot of your hopes and dreams shit ain't gonna get accomplished if there isn't some financing somewhere available or backing it. You feel me? So go to blackempower.com. That's BLKMPWR.com. Go there today. Clothes, books, my homeboy got it popping. You know what I mean? Black folks in America, we need to realize that at times, shit, all the time, actually, we're in charge of who's popping. If we begin to support something immensely, the dominant society will do the same thing. So let's keep that in mind. You feel me? So those are the black businesses for today. Please do me a favor, support those businesses. Tell your friends about them. Again, if you're listening to this on one of the digital platforms, and of course, I'm speaking about businesses. As I do that, I show pictures and images of these businesses, their websites, things of that nature. If you want to be a part of that part of the process, go to the Melanated Convo on YouTube. The Melanated Convo on YouTube is the name of the YouTube channel. Let's get it popping, family. So, look, I wanted to do this show to highlight a few things, right? Now, the theme of the show is inviting negative energy. When I say inviting negative energy, what do I mean by that, right? So let's go step by step here. First off, I want to say rest in peace, and I've said this before. I did a video about it or whatever, but rest in peace to the homie Young Dolph, to the rapper father Young Dolph. Rest in peace to that brother. Wednesday the 17th, he was killed inside of a cookie store. Supposedly he had his head down, looking at his phone. Some brothers came by the store and killed him. So RIP to that brother. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because being someone who is just attempting to unify his people, understanding the deficit that we're at in America. It's becoming alarming to me. It's becoming uncomfortable to me how we treat each other. And hip hop music is like a glaring example of the disrespect and the negligent way that we treat each other. You know what I mean? So RIP to that brother. He shouldn't be dead. Like, I don't wish death on anybody, of course. He has two children. He was doing positive things in his community, and I respect that. Like, when you die, people tend to highlight the positive things you were attempting to do or the positive things you have done, and I respect that. I wasn't a big fan of his music, just based on the fact that I'm not a big fan of a lot of the new guys' music, depending on the subject matter or how metaphoric they are. I'm a little older, you know what I mean? But I respected his grind and the fact that he was supporting his family, the fact that he was moving forward, just being a lover of hip hop for all these years. Anytime I see somebody continuing to go forward, continuing to grow, like in a creative endeavor, especially now that I'm attempting to do things that are more creative, I just respect people that continue to figure out ways to get it done. You feel me? So to me, Young Dolph, as well as a lot of the young dudes in hip hop, represent that to me, as well as representing generational wealth, possibly for his family. So all of these things I respect, right? But here's the thing, and this is some shit that we need to get clear in our community. All too often, because again, I know what we've been through historically. I know how our neighborhoods were created, but all too often we're inviting the negativity. This young man is a person that's been shot before. In LA, he got shot. Correct me if I'm wrong now. In LA, he got shot. He got shot at another performance he had. He got shot at like 100 times. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we, when someone dies, we jump in and say, hey, rest in peace. We seeing all these posts about how shit need to stop. We seeing all these posts about how they were great men and how can we treat each other this way. But before these niggas die, excuse my French, before these niggas die, a lot of us are using their images and their music to perpetuate the same shit that got them killed. Like, again, I have nothing against Young Dolph's legacy, anything he represented, but we gotta anything he represented, excuse me, but we gotta call a spade a spade. This young man, like a lot of the rappers, not all, but a lot, if not most, rap about degradation. They speak death into light, similar to what Tupac did. You see what I mean? Because from my understanding, this young man was beefing with people. We're not gonna get into all the politics of that street shit. But this young man was beefing with people. And at the same time, when things would happen, he wouldn't see it as a sign of moving completely different. This is my opinion, family, because he would make music about it. Like when the shit happened at it was a college show or something like that, where his van or his sprinter got hit 100 times. It was bulletproof, so nothing happened to nobody. I did a little research before I did my show, family. They tried to kill the nigga. Anybody shoot at you 100 times, nigga, they want you dead. That's flat out, right? But after that process, he makes an album called Bulletproof. And if you look at the goddamn track listing of this album, it's antagonizing these shooters. You know what I mean? Like, think about, we have to be contextual about how we think about life and how we think about Black people and how we think about our real legacy. Because yeah, you can be a real estate investor. You can be a dude with a lot of money who is putting money into different parts of your community and doing a turkey drive and all this shit. But if your mouth continually speaks death into existence, if you use your platform, because look, talking about killing niggas, talking about harming Black people, we have to begin to look at this shit a little differently. We have to be able to frame this in a different manner that's a little more beneficial. Because again, I'm a lover of hip hop because of the storytelling. If you talking about your story and what you had to go through, I can't knock you for that. But it's a slippery slope between telling your story and glorifying the bullshit. Because I quickly, right, without going too deep, because people can educate me on some of these dudes. I'm willing to deal with that. You know what I mean? But I quickly did a search, just looked at a few of his videos, the one that was most popular. Looked at some of Young Dolph's videos, the ones that was most popular, the ones that had the most YouTube views and shit. When looking at these videos, you shooting at the camera. You are perpetuating violence. You are perpetuating violence. If you're perpetuating violence, what's the chances of the shit coming your way? Like, we have to be honest. When we looking at these videos and when we enjoying that they got all this jewelry on, they got nice cars, they got all this nice shit. We're enjoying this because we're a people who are bereft of unity. We're bereft of resources. So when we see anybody that has resources, even when they're not representing something positively, we tend to cling on to it. And all of this shit has to stop, family. It's been like 200 and something rappers killed over the past 2 or 3 years, or even less than that, if I'm not mistaken. So we got to get an understanding of what's actually going on out here. And if we're OGs or men who are a little older, it's time that we reach out to the younger generation, like the young street dudes. Some black men are out here. Some young black men are out here working, going to college, still dealing with being black in America, but they haven't infused the street shit into their program. You feel me? Some of our young men who are street dudes who grew up in certain communities, who had to sell drugs, who are choosing to sell drugs, who are choosing to live a particular way. It's time that we figure out a way to reach these young men. It's time that we figure out a way to help them create a code of conduct. You see what I'm saying? Because it's no coincidence that most of the rappers that get killed rap with a particular energy. Like, do we see Christian rappers or conscious rappers shooting at each other? You could talk about how much you don't like that shit or how appealing it isn't, but at the end of the day, they're not inviting that type of energy into their environment. That's why we see different results. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell a young man what to rap about, or I'm sorry, what to rap about, or what type of content to portray, but you got to know everybody's listening, including the fucking universe. You hear what I'm saying? Tupac Shakur invited negative energy into his circle because of everything that he was going through, because of the age that he was at the time. But if he wouldn't have put his hands on Orlando Anderson, he may be here today. You see what I'm saying? So you put yourself in situations that unknowingly to you, that is digging a deeper and deeper ditch. Young Dolph, to my understanding, niggas was trying to kill him. This is facts. Niggas was trying to kill him, and his vehicles that he owned all was like wrapped with camo. They were like camo wrapped, beautiful vehicles, beautiful cars, wrapped in the same paint job. So what this says to me, if any, and you bragged about the fact that your cars were bulletproof. Family, it's becoming clear to me that certain rappers, if you're not just going to change your shit up and give it time to morph into something more positive, you're going to have to move like the president. Like, you can't just be a regular dude where you're going inside of cookie shops, where you're going inside of regular stores. Some of that's negligent to a degree. That's making it look like you feel motherfuckers can't touch you, when if the president of America can get shot in the head, family, everybody's fair game. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Everybody's fair game. So, of course, everybody knows his vehicles are bulletproof. So what would someone do? Now, if you don't tell them they bulletproof, they may keep trying to hit your car for whatever reason. Excuse me. But if you tell everybody your vehicles are bulletproof, everybody in your city knows how your vehicles look. What do you think is going to happen when somebody actually see you that want problems with you? You see what I'm saying? And again, I feel for this brother's family. I'm always looking at the best part of people, like whatever their positive attributes are. So I understand what this brother was doing for his community, how it felt for a young dude from that hood to possibly see him pull up in one of those cars, and how much motivation that can provide. You see what I'm saying? To my understanding, he didn't live in Memphis no more. He was there to do a turkey drive, which is another great fucking thing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not shitting on this brother at all. This is one of our young brothers. We just got to figure it out. And the last thing I'll say about that, because I'm saddened by the death of this young brother, but how we treat each other, how we view respect in our community. This is important, family. This is important because the same people listening to his music who witnessed him die and are critical of the people who killed him and sympathetic to his family. How did you feel when he making songs about shooting niggas? Let's keep it real, man. Let's keep it real. When he making songs about shooting niggas and things he may have done before, are we looking at that like, wait a minute, he could be talking about somebody else's kids who gon' die or who's dead already? Are we as sympathetic for the victims of his words? You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when I look at, because like I mentioned all the time, my family owns a funeral home. I'm transparent about these type of things. My family owns a funeral home, and when I see young dudes who die from gun violence, I'm always empathetic. I've had deaths in my family. I know how serious these things can be, but I would be remiss if I didn't also consider, what the fuck did he do? Did he make somebody else's family cry? Did he take another mother's son to get to a position where a nigga feel they got to take him out? You see what I'm saying? So that, I mean, none of it is correct, but we have to look at everything from a clear lens. You see? And unfortunately, as far as hip hop is concerned, because these white corporations have a handle on our music, because history and like getting a clear perspective of who we are and where we come from is so not appreciated by so many people in black culture, just to be on some real shit, not the right people. You see what I'm saying? We may continue to see these type of things. You know, we may continue to see our young men treating each other this way because forgiveness is a motherfucker. Like being in this country and having all these awkward ass last names, Johnson, Anderson, Smith, fucking whatever your last name is, it ain't some African shit. It ain't no Aboriginal shit for the most part. So we stolen Africans in a lost ass land. It's gonna take the elders. It's gonna take um, um, community leaders who are on the right shit, who are on the right side of it, who aren't coons or who aren't affected by a meritorious manumission, because that's something I wanted to make sure I mentioned to everybody. When we look at how we treat each other as black people, when we look at the Tekashi 6 9s or any of the black men in our community, the first 48 shit, where we treat each other um, like we're not one. We always are in a position where we're trying to one up another black man to increase our stake in this society. A lot of this started, and I got a video about this on the Melanated Convo. That's the YouTube channel. You can find this video under History Matters. I have a video about this with meritorious manumission was a law that was put into place in the early 1700s for black slaves, that basically if you did certain things you could either be freed or put in a more advantageous position. Some of these things could be helping out your massa if he's sick, helping him out, putting in extra work on the plantation. One of these things was if you knew information about a slave revolt, or if you knew information about a slave that was thinking about running, if you told, you would get like a butter biscuit. You would get to come in the house, different shit like that. Yeah, you heard what I said. They would get butter biscuits as a reward, right? So when we look at the snitching crisis, the snitching epidemic we have in our community, when we look at just in general the crabs in a barrel mentality, these ways of living has been bred into our community over centuries and centuries. That's why I'm always going to be such a big proponent of history, because in my opinion, maybe if most of our young men begin to learn about these things, they would understand that it was a trap put into place in the first place, like before all of this. Like you things happen to us. You know what I mean? It's just not a happenstance that we treat each other the way that we treat each other. Or when you look at our communities and when you look at the lack of resources, most of this shit was orchestrated, but we have to be aware of that. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, if you're aware of the orchestration, then maybe you'll feel different about hurting your brother. But we got to practice forgiveness. And the last thing I'll say about the brother Young Dolph, tragic killing of another young black rapper. And something else I was thinking about, man. We too caught up in this materialistic shit. We too caught up in how somebody look and how somebody dress and oh, he a real nigga and all this. We need to recontextualize what the fuck is a real nigga. Dying at 36, that ain't real. Not I'm not coming at him per se, but just in general. Living a particular lifestyle where you can lose your life in your 30s ain't a goddamn thing fly about that at all. At all. Growing up, people frowned upon anybody they considered square, which I admittedly would be um a dude that was considered square. I own that shit because I am who I am and I'm not no goddamn follower. But at the end of the day, being cool was appreciated in our community. Like because we were bereft of resources and our Jordans and materialistic shit made us feel good because the outside world didn't. I'm keenly aware of that, but we got to begin changing this narrative and use different methods to actually do so. History, building our families correctly, just loving our families, being more forgiving people, being more empathetic, whatever this may be. You know what I mean? So, RIP to the brother Young Dolph. I'm personally, if you don't approach your hip hop from a realistic lyrical perspective, it's going to be difficult for me to listen to you again. I can understand you talking about things you've been through in your life, things you've had to go through, and this can include violence and other shit. But if you're perpetuating violence, if you just rapping about killing niggas randomly, I'm done with that shit. And parents, if you have kids who live in urban communities, you need to be keenly aware. If they live in urban communities and don't have resources, you need to be keenly aware of how they're using this music. This is real shit because white kids who live in suburbs listen to hip hop or buy hip hop more than we do. So it's not about the kid, it's about the environment. It's about the environment. It's about the structure. All these things are important. If your kid isn't living under a structured environment, no resources, it's violence and shit going outside of his door. The music may hit him different. The music may make him think he has to be a participant. If your kid has resources and don't want for nothing and has a structured home, preferably with a mom and a dad, they may not look at the music as something they have to embody because white kids don't listen to rap music and starting gangs and killing each other. That shit just don't happen. That's based on economics. Like Claude Anderson says, that's based on economics. That's based on the communities that we come from. You feel me? So RIP to that brother. But we got to begin to practice a code of conduct, family. A code of conduct can be supporting businesses. That's one way to show that you're on code. Pledging to not hurt somebody black, like trying to get to the bottom of shit and figure out different ways to solve our problems. Not killing anybody black unless you have to. Because I understand if somebody's robbing you or if somebody's breaking into your house, like there are insinuating circumstances that will make you just want to protect your family regardless of who it is. But practicing forgiveness, learning about history, unlearning a lot of the shit that we've been taught by this system, family. That's why I have an event for Thanksgiving and I'll continue to do so. But I'm not a proponent of any holiday in America. I look at all of them critically, and I have a lot of criticism for all of them based on the origins, based on the capitalistic and the pagan, the paganistic like outlook of a lot of these holidays. It's kind of like a lot of bullshit, but I enjoy being with my family and creating moments where my family can show some type of unity and love for each other. I appreciate that. But the holidays in general is full of shit. And that's all of us needs to do what we can to be more critical of everything that we consume. You feel me? It's important that we become more critical of everything that we're consumed because our people are under attack. And I would hate for something to happen to somebody in your family before you can view it as such. So, yes, we have racism issues with police brutality and the educational system failing us and the prison industrial complex. All of these things are alive and well, but also how we treat each other, how we harm each other, how we have this crabs in a barrel mentality where if someone's doing better or if someone's perceived as doing better, we treat them with so much angst. All of these things have to stop or it's just going to get worse. We can't have an outside enemy and an inside enemy affecting us. But all of us needs to be patient with these young people and try our best to reach them because some of us at moments didn't do a good job at being a father or we didn't have fathers ourselves. So there's a lot of shit we had to learn later in life. When it comes to credit, when it comes to investing, when it comes to business, when it comes to a lot of this shit, a lot of us wasn't privy to information that could have helped move this way of thinking forward for us. You feel me? So all of this is important, family, and you should be saddened when you see a young man like this die at such a young age, but you should also be saddened when you hear young dudes rap in a manner that speaks death to life. You see, when they combine the two, once you get to a certain age, you need to begin looking at this shit like, wait a minute, something ain't right with this. Tell your story, but something ain't right with this. You feel me? So RIP to the young brother, man. We need to do better. Now, last thing I want to discuss before I get off here, family. If you're listening to this on one of the digital platforms, please like, share the video, or share the audio. Leave a review. Even if you don't like it, tell me some things you feel I can be doing better. Talk to me, family. I'm all with that. You feel me? So leave a review. If you're watching this on one of the video platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're watching it, please share the video, share the video. Let's speak a little bit about the Kyle Rittenhouse case, right? Because some people, because of what I do, I get a lot of people who reach out to me, who give me information about things and express their opinions, which I'm all for that. I never frown upon that. I never view it as a negative thing. If I'm putting myself out there publicly with my voice, you should expect some resistance at times. You feel me? So people are telling me how the Kyle Rittenhouse case isn't about race. And if you don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse is the now 18-year-old kid who was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, running around with a fucking AR-15 because of his mentality, in my opinion. He's running around with an AR-15, protecting businesses that didn't even request him to protect the businesses. The police in the area watch him run around with the gun. So they're approving this young white vigilante. You know what I mean? He ended up killing 2 people, injuring 1 person. People are telling me this isn't about racism. Well, if you look at the grand scheme of what's actually happening with that or happened with that young man, he is at a protest about police brutality. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me if it was a police or if it was a protest about women's rights, gay rights, Second Amendment rights, and there was some looting going on, which happens at most riots. People who are impoverished, people who are getting shitted on, sometimes they don't know what else to do but to act in that manner. Now, of course, you always have the twos and fews of people who are rioting and doing different shit just because they want something free. That's going to happen in any walk of life, especially when it's in an impoverished neighborhood to a degree. You know what I mean? So that kind of shit is going to happen. But most people are there because they don't appreciate the injustice. You know what I mean? So running around with an AR-15, like I said about young Dolph, Kyle Rittenhouse is inviting negativity. You're inviting negativity, fam. You feel me? You running around with an AR-15 telling people that you're here to provide medical get something smaller. If you need to protect yourself against potential threats, get something smaller, put it away. Nobody can see it. When you have your medical equipment, you're presumed as less than a threat. In Black society, we're going to see this as a red flag when we're just witnessing the image of a white 17-year-old running around with an AR-15 in front of police. What the fuck are we to think when we see something like this? If he was Black, they would have killed him there. They would have killed him on the spot, right? And him getting not convicted of all of these charges. He has 5, 6 different charges. He's not getting convicted. The judge seems to be siding with the defense. The judge seems to have an affinity for the defense. This young kid gets to pick his jury through a particular selection process that he had his hand in. All of this screams white privilege. So when I tell somebody that's arguing me down about this isn't about race, while we're so outraged about this case and not the Ahmaud Arbery case, which we do give a fuck about, but give us a minute to get to everything. You know what I mean? One of the things, and we talk about it, and he says, okay, well, yeah, there is white privilege here. If he was Black, this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't happen. I said, well, goddamn, that's the whole point. White privilege goes hand in hand with racism. If there was no white privilege, if everybody got the same opportunities, then there would be no white privilege. If everybody got the same opportunities, then there would be no racism. So it's the same shit. You know what I mean? I just hope my people understand this is setting a precedence. If somebody dies again, if a Black person dies again at the hands of police, and white vigilantes feel that they need to protect said neighborhood, said community, they're going to be there with guns and they're going to be in power because they know if I kill one of you motherfuckers, whether white or black, if I kill one of you motherfuckers and go on stage and cry, I'm good. You feel me? To me, once I see them cry, I said, it's over. He going to be innocent. It's over. That white judge is seeing a white teen. He's seeing his son, his grandson, his nephew. He's seeing himself. You see what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is on code. That's why I was saying, or I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but there's a code of conduct that we all need to participate in as far as being Black people. Because when we say white supremacy, we're strictly speaking about the institutions in America. If you look at the 9 major people activities in America, you look at law, politics, economics, entertainment, labor, education, religion, sex is war. Shout out to the brother Neely Fuller. If you don't know who Neely Fuller is, he's an author, he's a radio host, an old school brother, older man, but he breaks down these 9 areas of activity in a lot of the broadcasts that he does. He has a book as well called The Textbook for Victims of White Supremacy. I think that's the simple name for it. But look up Neely Fuller, Neelyfullerer. Very intelligent brother, but he focuses on white supremacy. And it's interesting because if you look at all 9 of the people activity I just mentioned, all 9 of those activities are pretty much dominated by people outside of our community. So these are things that we have to be aware of, family. So whether you want to vote and then go out and do something in your community, if you want to start an organization, whatever you want to do, but it's important and shit. Have fun, like smoke, drink, chill out, like whatever you want to do with your time. I am not going to judge you. I do some of these things myself. But we got to get to a point where we value Black life. We got to get to a point where we understand everything that we're under and use, if not just a little bit of our time, to figure out ways to empower our people, because these folks ain't playing. We dealing with this same type of shit in 2021, where a young white man can kill that many people. Can police? He was running. Hear me when I say this, family. Kyle Rittenhouse ran by police officers with an AR-47. Who do you know that's Black can have that type of gun strapped to their back just running around? That's deputizing white citizens. When we look at the Karen phenomenon, this is the same thing. See? Same thing. Deputizing white citizens. White citizens feeling like this is my country, this is my shit, and along with law enforcement and the government, I'm going to do what I got to do to keep it in the position it's in, whatever that may be. Because when it comes to white people in America, they've been carrying their guns. They've been practicing war they think is coming. They've been preparing for our ass. You see what I'm saying? The question then becomes, how prepared are we? How many of us got a gun license and know how to use that motherfucker? No, make sure your family know where it is. Make sure, you see what I'm saying? So we got to start taking all this shit more serious, man. And you know, I appreciate everybody listening to the show. The show has continued to get bigger. I'm figuring out different ways to expand my platform and put myself in the best position possible to reach as many of you guys as I possibly can. Excuse me. But it's important that we take all of these things serious, family. It's important that you look at news for yourself, not get caught up in the hype around something. Make sure you read enough and research enough to get a clear understanding. Sometimes, what looking at Instagram and looking at social media, you may get things that are uncontextualized, which will change your view of how you see it. Do your best to get a contextual understanding of what you're looking at. But we're in danger in this country being black. At any time, the shit can come to your doorstep in any manner, whether it be the police, whether it be shit in a political manner, whether it be you trying to do what you can to support your people and getting treated like shit by the powers that be. Whatever it may be, family, we have to come together. We have to figure out a way to come together. And inviting negativity into your life for any person, no matter who you are, that can be a part of your downfall. And Young Dolph, Kyle Rittenhouse, in my opinion, these men invited negativity into their environment and bad things happen. You see what I'm saying? So this has been another episode, man, of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'd like to thank everybody again for watching the show. Subscribe to the show on the Melanated Convo YouTube channel, all the digital platforms. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your downloads. Please continue to like the show. Leave a review if you can. Please leave a review. This has been another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. This is your boy Harrison. I'm out.